Hi everyone, Amanda here, and this is the first set in a series of layouts where I'm using blank layouts that I had in my stash and combining them with old photos that have been uncovered and unboxed and have shown up in our moves over the last couple of years. So right now I'm starting with, I just grabbed some photos from when I was in college. I can't tell you where we went. I can only tell you two of the people other than myself of who's in the photos. I kind of remember spending time with these people. We played canasta a lot. I learned how to play canasta there, but it's friends from college, and I remember Steven, but I don't remember the other people. So that being said, I still want to preserve the memories because I think it's fun to talk about, taking a day off on a Saturday and going down and actually going and spending a day somewhere along the riverside. I know it was Ohio. That's all I could tell you. So I have already changed which layout I wanted to use for the base pages, and I've trimmed down some photos so that they fit in different areas, and I'm just measuring the width of that little I don't know if it was a photo mat or journaling mat. It was just how the original layout had a photo or had a piece of paper there, so I'm just using it as a photo mat. And I'm kind of getting started. I'm doing it's a dry fit, but it's also a direction for where I'm gonna go with the photos. And the photo booth ones end up getting cut down into just 3 because I'm only in the top 3 photos. And the bottom photo was ripped, so it just made sense to me to go ahead and cut that off. So what I'm doing now is, because these photos, A, are dated, but B, because they have such a dark background, I'm taking a Sharpie marker, and you'll notice that I have the tip going towards, like, from the bottom of the photo, because if I accidentally slip off the edge, it'll make a mark on the back of the photograph and not on the front of it. But I'm coloring in the edge, and you can see here how it kind of darkens it up and it gives it a nicer edge. It kind of just, I don't want to say anchors because that's not the word I'm looking for, but it just gives it some depth. It draws your eye less because you don't see that white little edge of the paper. So now I'm going to mat these side by side on just one photo mat, because it's basically it's the same person in costume, so they can be matted together. And now I've gone through and I've matted the rest of my photos. I have matted the photo booth photos. You can see that. I also added a flip flap, and now I'm going through my stencils. Some of them I cut myself with the Cricut, and some of them are the ones that Close to My Heart offers. I end up using one of the one that Close to My Heart offers, and I was looking at the bricks because I thought it would work with the brickwork that was around the fountain, since many of the photos are fountains, but or are of the fountain. But I decided to just do a random this kind of diamond pattern, and I intentionally am not blending really well. Like I want there to be faded sections and dark sections, excuse me. And I will realize later that I probably should have gotten out a piece of tape to kind of mask some of the edges, and I do fine on this paper. And up here, when I do my next section, you'll see that I actually go outside of the corner of the stencil, and it turns out to be fine because it's behind the photo, but there's definitely a shadow from where I went outside of the stencil. But look, photo covers it, all done. I did use outdoor denim as photo mats instead of black, I want to say, just because the black was so stark that it drew your eye too much, and it needed to be a softer. Maybe I used charcoal. I think these are charcoal. I apologize. And this is where I get onto the green strip of paper, and I realized, you probably should have some, matting. And then it looks like, oh, you did it intentionally that way to make it look better. And I was like, no, I'll just move my photo over. So, and here I end up stopping the video and getting the tape. And I actually keep the tape on the front edge of my desk, so it's stuff that's been used over and over again, and so it's not quite so tacky, and it just works really well for me. I'm really enjoying stenciling. It's something that was going out of fad when I first started with Close to My Heart, going on 15 years ago, and now it's coming back in. And some people did it all along and had fantastic layouts, and I could never figure out why, but now that I have the key to their magic, I can do it too, and now you can as well. So there were some sticker sheets that came with these layouts, or with this paper pack, and I'm just cutting out the title so that it's not sticky yet, so I can play with where I want it and where it's going to end up on the layout. And from here on out, it's really just going to be a matter of adding embellishments, doing some different techniques to give the embellishments some depth. And also, as far as composition, you want to draw your eye through the pages. You don't want it to, oh, look over here, look over there, you don't want to make it too busy so that your eyes are all jumbled or trying to see too much at once. So the reason why people work with odd numbers and in triangles is because that's something that frames the references that, it's like a cue to your brain, because that's how we've been taught that, oh, what's inside the triangle is something that's important, or I'm going to move from one end of this through till the other end of it. And it allows you to experience the page. So when I had tried my title with it on the left and the right side, I think that was going to be too disorienting. So put those together there. And because all of my photos are squared or and level, they're all upright, they're all 90 degrees to each other, I wanted to have something to kind of relieve that that look on the page. So you'll see on my butterfly, if you haven't been here before, I glue the center down and then I pop dot the wings, and you can kind of see the shadow on the butterfly. It just makes it look like it's popping right off the page. And that was a little bowl of embellishments that I cut for different things and that I keep on my desk. These blue are actually punches that I did for another project, but I had a few of them left and threw them in my little bowl. And then the leaves are silver, and those are also things that I had punched extra of and didn't need them, and so I now have them for this project. And there's a whole bunch of green, they look almost like ferns, but they're actually the centers of leaves that I cut for another project. So to add some texture to this layout, I'm getting out these old crochet flowers that Close to My Heart used to sell, and it just adds some texture, like I said, some interest. All of these things are things that help your eye and give some visual interest, but without it being stressful. I don't have the right word, and then I don't have my old retired cardstock papers, but because we have the two toned cardstock, I'm able to use the lighter side of, I believe that's the Carolina blue, and it works out really well. So, and here with the leaves, I'm just making them a little more natural or interesting. So I just take the stylus, it's just a ball on the end of this pen, and I'm kind of rolling the leaves up into this small foam pad. And that pad is kind of like a mouse pad. It's a little thicker and denser, and so that just allows the paper to kind of give way when you put the pressure on it with the embossing stylus. And you'll see me use that several more times to give even the cardboard stickers some dimension and interest. And what I'm doing now is I'm kind of taking the stickers off, and I don't know if you saw, but I had my embossing buddy, so I was putting powder on the back of the stickers to take the stickiness off so that I can kind of decide where I want them before I glue them down fully. And I'm also just, I want to make sure that I have different things in each of the clusters. So again, I have some stickers, I have some of the crocheted flowers, I have some of the silver, I have some of the fronds. I also have some clear acrylic they're smaller than a button flower that I also make sure I have one with each cluster. So that's what I'm doing here, is kind of pulling things out, taking the sticky off, and making my groupings. And I end up deciding that up here in the upper right corner where I just dropped that butterfly, oh, there's those acrylic shaped flowers. I need some sort of a banner end or something to kind of draw your eye up into that. And I figure my target is to end on people looking at Steven and the little puppy dog. So it's kind of a good place to end for this layout when you're looking at it. And I did my journaling. I just took an old stamp set that had, like, it looks like a torn notebook page, but I cut the side off that looks torn because I just needed something thin to fit in this spot. Mounted it on that blue. There, my banner ends are up with a butterfly. Here's where I'm going to give some depth again to these cardstock stickers. And you can't really see in the video, but it does give it some more interest in real life. And I think there was a little thread that was poking out on the back of that crochet flower. So just trim that off, and then I'm getting my glue dots out, and I use a glue dot to adhere all of those. There, you can see the glue dots in my hand. So, and it's just a matter of, you could continue to embellish this. Like, I could go and get sparkles out and add sparkles to each of the different areas where there's a cluster. And it's what works for you and what you like, and really what your resources are. I had all of these green fronds from cutting out those leaves, so I'm putting them here on the fountain photo, and I'll just tuck those in because I have them. So use what you have. That's kind of my goal with this series, is to scrap my stash and get my photos and my memorabilia into albums. My family loves looking at the albums. They talk about some of the stories that were written that, oh, I forgot that even happened, and we talk about that. And so it's nice to have those albums and the pages in the albums where people can look at them and talk about them and just kind of relive some happy times. And especially with this year of being safer at home, it's kind of nice to vicariously get outside the house, even if it's just in your head. So what I do with these little fronds, I'll call them, is I just dip the tip into my puddle of glue and tuck it underneath, and that way I'm getting glue on both the top and the bottom of that tip. So when I tuck it under something, it's gluing to the base page and to the thing on top of it. So it's just kind of a double hook in there, but the end is free and I can bend it up and give it some interest. So, and I feel like it just, take a moment, step back, look at the overall layout of your page. Like right now I'm working on the set around the title, and I think if I would have continued, it would have gotten a little out of hand, but I'm kind of drawing your eye from the top down to the bottom, so you'll get to see the journaling, and then again with where the cluster of embellishments are going to be on the right hand page, you're drawn back up and through the layout. So I hope that makes some sense. Some of that is just composition, colors, and where you orient things on a page, if something's taller than another thing. If you give it matting, like a double mat or a triple mat, or it has a wider mat than something else, that adds weight to a photo or a feature. And again, that's kind of where our eye is drawn. So just, these are all little things to think about. And the more you develop those into your layouts, the more you don't even have to think about it. I watch some other YouTube videos and I can tell that they've been doing this for years, and some of it is natural and some of it I'm sure is just years of learning this, that it becomes second nature. So it's just like a muscle. If you use it, you'll get better using it. I'm really glad that I have found these crochet flowers because they just add so much to the layout. It's kind of nice. Just that little one that went on the journaling square is nice. So as we move forward with this series, I need to hear back from you guys what you want to see more of. I noticed on this particular video recording, I did more of the embellishments, and I knew that I was going to talk about incorporating textures and sizes and colors, and really just having your clusters and how it moves your eye across the page. And I know I'll talk about that again, but maybe you want more of how did you choose your layout pages since they were already done? How did you figure out where to put your photos on? Or how do you know, formatting, which one gains interest in that? So please comment and let me know what you would like to know or see more of, and I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Obviously, the next few videos will probably be recorded before I get that feedback, but put it down there. I have hundreds, over 200 layouts done, and I have 3 boxes plus another 2 of the big cropper hopper boxes full of photos. So, and that doesn't even include anything that happened since 2013 in our family, because I haven't printed any photos except for a couple of events I printed and the purchase of this house stuff I printed. But other than that, we have lots of photos and lots of pre-done layouts, and the Craft with Heart scrapbook workshop kits that I will also be incorporating, because as I'm moving in and settling into my studio, I am finding the boxes that were never opened, that we moved, they arrived, and I put them back in a box because I knew we were moving again. So let me know what you want to see, and I will try to work with that. And if there's something that I don't know, I love to research and learn. I'm a technique junkie, but I also like composition prompts as well. So I like to learn all that stuff. And it is interesting just seeing the photos from, this is in the 90s, versus our digital photos now, and how we can edit them and really choose what we focus on. When I load my photos into the computer, they're like 54 by 40 inches. So within that, you can pick a lot of 4x6 photos to focus on if you wanted. All right, so we're wrapping up here. There are going to be some other videos that you might be interested in. I am going to put a playlist together for this scrapbook tips and tricks series. I'm kind of working on composition as far as layouts and putting photos with papers, and also how I'm sure we're going to run into how to make your photos work with papers that may be too bright, how we can get those to coordinate better. So here's a flyover with some details of this layout. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Thank you.